It's because I flicked her in the head.
Dude. All right. Well, welcome to the Jessie Show.
This is a story. This is a podcast of Jessie the dog.
Hey, Jessie.
That's me. You're probably wondering how I got into this situation.
Do you want to come up here? You can come up here. You have room. There you go. She's mad at you.
She should be. I flicked her in
She's
the
so
head.
upset at you.
I don't even care.
So, since my child was so upset that I was doing this without her,
Doing what?
the podcast,
What podcast?
because she is.
What podcast?
Oh, you haven't heard of them? They're
Yeah.
a true crime and paranormal podcast called What's with the Neighbors.
Oh,
They're a great podcast.
they sound great.
Oh, they
sound
have
so friendly.
a character named Amy
Oh,
and another one named.
Brie?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. It's a great show, guys. 4.8 stars on iTunes. So.
Which we don't know who gave us the low star, but we're
yeah.
coming after you.
Yeah, you know.
Rude.
Yeah, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all.
They didn't say anything. They just
They
did
didn't
the
say
star.
anything. They just did the star.
Mother.
All of our reviews are fabulous.
Yep. Yeah. So also leave us a review.
Yeah, they're really helpful on
That's-
iTunes, and you can do on Spotify too.
That is the best way.
I think
to show your
iTunes helps
support.
us more though.
Yeah.
Or Apple, I should say.
So your daughter.
You are so loud.
Hold on. I'm.
ASMR dog.
Ouch.
I wonder how much of that picked up. So yeah, Charlotte was mad that she couldn't come.
Sure.
And so I was
Rightfully so.
like, I was like, you can't be on the podcast. You're too little. You can't listen to this. You're going to have nightmares if you listen to it.
Right.
And so I was like, what if we do like a special, like kid friendly, even like for Patreon,
Oh,
where we
that'd
can
be
let other,
fun.
I don't know, other people be involved, or we
Yeah.
do like kid type story. I don't know. But it's just an idea that I'm going to start like working on and building
I
on.
love that.
And maybe Alice and the girls can help.
Yeah.
It would be complete chaos probably because
Oh,
of my children.
absolutely.
But, you know.
I would love that though. That'd be so much fun.
Also, Charlotte stopped in the middle of her gymnastics on her beam because we thought that she had to go to the bathroom. And she got down and she come over to the stairs where we were. And she's like, hey, Mom and Dad, what are we having for dinner today? I wanted to be so mad. I was like, get back over there. What are you doing? And then me and Josh just look at each other. We just lose it. We're like, what the frick?
I'll get it later. Go away.
Do you need to now?
No. That is hilarious.
She's silly. She's almost 5, so.
I don't know who's going first this week, but I have a question for. Oh, I have something I want to tell you.
I think I went first last week, so I can go first, or you can go first this week.
Okay.
What? Oh yeah, I have something I want to tell you too. You go first.
Okay, so this morning I woke up to someone like a notification from Venmo, and it showed that this person. I'm gonna pull it up. This person sent me. His name was Robert Trifon. He sent me $560 on Venmo.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and the reason just says doctor. And so I was like, okay, obviously this person sent it like by mistake, like
Right.
sent it to the wrong person. But I commented on it and I was like, thanks. I wasn't going to tell Venmo until like later, obviously, but I commented on it. I said, thanks. And then like 2 hours later, Venmo contacted me. They're like, we have to refund that person. I was like, okay. So then I commented on it again and I said, I wanted that money, sad face. What type of April Fool's Day joke is this?
I've had that happen before on PayPal where someone sent me like, it was like $700.
What?
And I was like, what the heck? But me being the good, and very
Yeah.
scared person I am, I was like, hey, I immediately messaged him. I'm like, hey, I think this is a mistake. And also, like, I'm worried that, like, it's some kind of scam and I'm going to get, like,
yeah.
in trouble for it, or, like, they're going to steal my money. And I'm like, hey, you just sent me this money and I think it was a mistake. And they're like, oh my God, it was a mistake. And they're like contacting Venmo and stuff. And it like went back through. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I
I've
hate being such a good person.
I've accidentally sent money to people on accident through PayPal, like the
Oh,
wrong person, and the person sent me the money back. It was like
oh yeah. I
like
did too.
$100, but
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, what type of joke is this? What did you want to tell me?
So this morning, Josh and I are laying in bed, and
Gross.
Charlotte had already gotten up, and she was out in the living room watching TV, and I still have the baby monitor on because Natalie's sleeping, and she's got like, we have the radio play in her room
Yeah.
because it helps her sleep, and it's on like super low, but we can usually hear what songs are on it if the volume's high on the
Right.
monitor, and so we're in the room laying down and just talking or whatever, and we hear like the radio, and all of a sudden we hear an adult voice come in her room, and it says over the monitor, okay, I have to go to work now. And it sounds like a woman, a grown female woman, not Natalie. It did not sound like Natalie. And the music was still playing. And then Natalie got up and said, Mom, I'm getting up. And we were like, where did that come from? It was really weird. It was the weirdest thing ever.
And it wasn't part of the radio.
No. Absolutely not, because there was still music, and then the guy who does I don't think it was on commercials, but regardless, I think the guy who does the commercials, it's always a guy that does the commercials.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know where that came from, but yeah, we heard a female voice in Natalie's room, and it really freaked us out. But it sounded really, whatever it was nice.
It was
And I was
clear.
like, yeah, it was clear as day. Like we thought someone was in. I got up immediately and ran in Natalie's room and to go check on her. And I was like looking around to see if anyone was in there. It
What the
sounded like
heck?
someone was in there. It did not sound like it was on the radio. It sounded like an actual person was in her room. Isn't that weird?
Who's watching over Natalie and
It
telling
was
her she needs to go to
so
work?
no, they said they needed. It sounded like it was like someone like saying goodbye before they were leaving for
yeah,
work.
that's what.
Yeah.
That's freaky.
It freaked me out. Yeah, I know. Josh too. Like we were like, what did that?
You need to
where
sage your house,
we?
dude.
I mean, it wasn't anything scary or bad.
That's
like
scary to me.
Natalie didn't cry,
Yeah.
so I don't know. And like we have a monitor. It's not like a monitor that picks up on frequencies. I don't think it's like a private monitor.
It's a local one.
Yeah, and it's like not on my phone or anything, so I don't think that would pick up anything. Maybe it would. I don't know.
That's still terrifying.
Because it has an antenna.
That's weird, though.
Yeah.
It would have to be on the same channel.
That's so weird. But like you don't even picture. It's not like a walkie-talkie.
Yeah, so I don't think it's just one signal to one signal.
Yeah, and then like it downstairs, like where the tenants are,
Uh-huh.
it absolutely would not have picked up down there.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that we pick up down
They
there
also don't
is
go to
like
work.
a really loud. Yeah, they don't go to work. They don't work. It's like a really loud sneeze or sometimes snoring. But usually we don't hear that through the monitor. It was really weird.
That's so freaky, dude.
Sorry that I just did that in the mic.
Fine.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Okay, what's my question?
If you could be on a reality TV show, which one would you choose and why?
Like a contest reality
Doesn't
TV
matter.
show?
Any
Okay.
reality TV
Big
show.
Brother. Because that's a really cool show and all the competitions look super fun and it's just I don't know. It would be really hard to be away from my family though.
Yeah.
But at the same time I feel like Big Brother would be a really fun competition wise one.
That would be fun.
I don't know. I don't watch a lot of reality TV other than The Bachelor, Bachelorette.
I didn't watch this season.
and,
was
like,
not interested.
Love is Blind. Started a new season of that, by the way. It's pretty good so
that's
far.
good.
But yeah, probably Big Brother. What about you?
I have no idea.
You not even the Kardashians?
Why would I want to
Maybe
be
if I could be on the Kardashians, if I was a Kardashian, freaking rich.
Right.
Sure. But yeah, I'd want to be on Big Brother.
Yeah. Like you as Brie, you would want to be on Big Brother.
Yep.
I
as
don't know
myself.
what one I would want to be on.
And I would also want to win $500,000. So that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be really good at some of those competitions, but they look really easy on TV, of course.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. A lot of people say that.
Maybe like, what is that?
The Amazing Race, where they go all around the
no,
country. That'd be
gosh,
cool.
no. It's called Generation Gap.
Oh, yeah.
That
The one
one's
with the
fun.
parents and the kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
But that's about it.
Yep.
I'm too young to
What
be
would
on
you
that.
guys answer? Let us know
Yeah.
if we remember to post it. If I remember to post it.
Amazing
I mean,
Race, Survivor,
yeah,
all of those.
Oh, the Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen.
I would love to get roasted and yelled at by Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, but do you know how to cook?
No.
I'm out here making frozen raviolis with jarred salsa.
I think I already told it.
Sauce.
I think I already told you this on the podcast, but I read a thing the other day, or not long ago, on like Facebook or a video or something, and they're like, I have a PSA for all the moms that are making their kids frozen foods for dinner. That's just wrong. You should heat it up first.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Hashtag frozen foods mom.
Yep.
I try my best. I include the vegetables and fruits.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My kids make me.
They're healthy.
I don't even do it myself. My kids make me. I asked
Your
her what she
child
wanted.
has a problem.
I asked her what she wanted for dinner. So I was like, oh, we could have a junk food night. We can do whatever you want. It's like we could do chips and salsa because she loves salsa.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, we should do that. But we should also do that thing where you made like, you cut all the vegetables, like the cucumber and the tomato and the ranch and the peppers. And I was like, you want a vegetable tray for dinner? She's like, yeah. I was like, cool.
Cool. We can have junk food.
Got
And can we have that
Twinkies,
thing
chips.
with the cucumbers, the tomatoes?
It's my favorite joke because we had a little Super Bowl night. So now she associates it with junk food.
I can have a veggie tray.
Yeah. Everybody gets their own veggie tray.
I love it.
Okay, so wow, that was a really singy voice. Oh, okay.
Okay.
In Next Door, this is titled "It's Windy as Shit."
Okay.
Seriously, nonstop for a week, especially in our neighborhood. Someone please call the police about this. That's all. About the wind.
As they should.
Yeah, like somebody needs to do something about that wind.
Someone
like get it
turn off
under
that
control.
fan.
Like
Get it. Yeah.
maybe they should call the weatherman.
And have him fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs
that
to
would
just
make sense.
do a different report.
Also, I know that some people do this, and it's okay.
Sorry,
what?
I just read another one anyway.
When someone says like, "Wow, it's raining so hard outside," and it's like, "Yep, we all can see it. We all see the same weather."
My favorite is when an earthquake happens here and you see like 1,200
Oh my
posts about like,
gosh.
did you feel that? Did anyone else feel that? And then now people have realized that happens. So like on the Isles and Spouse page, people will be like, all right, let's hear all the posts.
I love it.
Where my earthquake posts at.
Also, I never felt any of the earthquakes here.
I felt two.
And then one time, it was recently, I thought I felt an earthquake, and it wasn't an earthquake. So I'm like, is my ground just shaking
What
now?
was it?
I don't know.
Maybe it's a grater.
I don't know what it could have been.
Those
or
graters
just-
are...
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story now.
Okay. Sorry.
So also, I hope you guys liked our story last week.
Oh, yeah.
They already know.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we said at the end of the episode. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the description in it is
Yeah, the
pretty dope,
description
too.
has nothing to do with the stories that we share.
If you can tell us what store or what we're actually talking about in the description, you get bonus points.
Yeah.
Because we're keeping track now, apparently, of
We are.
listeners and
Yeah.
their points.
You should.
If you get up to 1 million points, you get a magnet.
But if you can decipher what stories those stories are
Yeah.
in the description and let us know, for real, I will send you something.
Maybe you get a t-shirt.
Yeah, maybe a t-shirt. Because, like,
I
wow,
think we have
amazing.
some extra t-shirts, actually.
So, anyways. Okay, so I'm actually going to tell you about Belle Guinness.
Like the beer?
No. I mean, it's spelled like that. Does Guinness have an I in it? No.
Yeah, I think so.
No, it's not spelled the same then.
Okay.
But Belle was born in a little town in Norway Now, this whole story takes place in like the 1800s and the 1900s, mind you.
Oh, nay, dang!
Yeah.
You never do old story. You haven't done an old story in a
I,
while.
I know.
I'm
And
excited.
well, it's so
Sorry.
hard to find stuff unless it's already been overdone.
Mhm.
So this we're taking it back there. Her father's name was Peter Paulson, and he was a traveling magician.
Oh my god, the best job to have at that time.
When Belle was a
So sorry.
child, Belle was a child, she would participate or just like help her dad out with this job as well. And say she would wait, hold on. Her mother would also be involved. They would just like put on this little performance, and it's like a circus, but it's not because he's a magician. So I don't know what they're doing, but Belle would like walk on a tightrope, and so
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. So that's fun. Her father would also work construction because I'm gonna guess that being a magician doesn't make a lot of
Probably,
money.
yeah. You
But-
can't literally make magic or money appear out of thin air.
Now, wouldn't that be cool?
That would be awesome. We would all be magicians.
Yeah. The family was very frugal with their money, though. They were very tight with how they spent the money. They would just save, 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 save. So they would constantly save. I don't know why I repeated it twice. They constantly would save every penny, nickel, and dime that they didn't need to spend. And this would actually allow them to retire earlier,
Okay, that's cool. Smart.
which is really nice for Belle. She was a teenager by the time that they retired. And so, that was really exciting for them. After retirement, they decided to purchase a small farm in Selbu, Norway, and they were farmers. Belle wanted to move on to like a bigger and better life. She's like, I don't like this farm life. So she's like, where can I get a bunch of money? So she's like, I'm going to move to the United States.
All right.
So
Freedom.
She moved to the United States in 1981 in search for wealth. What?
Okay.
Did I say 1981? 1881.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But that's not. Oh, yeah. I guess that would be. Whoa. She lived for a really
Whoa.
long time.
And now she's dead.
Now she's finding her new life.
In 1881 is when she moved to the United States. So Belle moves to Illinois. And while she was there, she met a Swedish man, and his name was Mads Albert. And this is about 2 years after moving to America, and she decides that they're going to get married. So they did. And they lived in Chicago, and they decided to open up their own candy store.
Fun.
I know.
I want a candy store.
I know. So the business was doing okay, but after a couple months, it like really slowed down, and it wasn't booming anymore. So they were like, we're not making a profit. We need to figure something out. But then one night, a couple months after this candy store had opened, a fire broke out, and the candy
no.
store was completely burned down.
Oh,
I
that's like the
know.
factory explosion
Yeah.
in Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Did you hear about that? Is I think it's the Hershey factory because someone said
Was that recently?
I just saw the notification this morning because Josh used to live near it, but I'm not sure if it was the Hershey factory because I couldn't figure out which one it was. But one of the people that were victim of it said that they wouldn't have survived if they wouldn't have fallen into a vat of chocolate. So
Are you kidding me?
yeah, so I was like, I can only assume that that's likely the Hershey factory, and it's really sad. A lot of people died. It's really sad.
They survived because they fell in a
Yeah,
thing of
Because they didn't
chocolate.
get on fire because they were like submersed in
Chocolate.
liquid chocolate.
That sounds so fake.
Chocolate. I know it does. I was reading it to Josh this morning.
That is crazy.
It's not funny at all.
That's
It's
really sad.
yeah, as I think like 14 people died.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, back to more really sad news, I guess. So their
Fire.
candies burned down.
You think it smelled good? Sorry. Anyway.
I want to say Yes and no. Like
Like at
maybe,
first, and then it's just too burnt.
yeah. I'm picturing like a roasted marshmallow
Same.
smell.
The whole
Yeah.
town's like, man, it smells good out here. Yeah, the candy store on 5th is on fire.
So luckily nobody was hurt. Uh, Mad, her husband, he was irritated. So the insurance people come out and they're like inspecting everything as they would. Um, and the officials decided to investigate and find out what the cause of the fire was. While the insurance officials were looking for what caused the fire, they didn't find anything that seemed out of the ordinary. So they're like, all right, must have been an accident. And they paid the married couple. Mad had a life insurance policy that was about to expire. So he's like, all right, I got to purchase another one. But there was 2 days where the policies overlapped. So if he happened to die in those 2 days, Belle would be able to cash out on both of them.
Oh.
So, like, he's like, yeah.
Whoa.
So Mad's like, yeah, my life insurance policy is going to expire, so I got to get another one. Oh, there's 2 days where they overlap. And Belle's like, huh,
Interesting.
weird. So, how crazy is this? Mad just happened to die on one of those 2 days.
I was not expecting
Crazy
that.
coincidence. I
Oh
know.
my gosh.
Yeah. So Belle said that Mad had come home from work and that he had a really bad headache. And since he's such a hard worker, she's like, I'm just going to let him go lay down. And Belle said that she just felt so awful for him. I mean, her poor husband, just working so hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, she was like, let me take care of you. Belle ended up giving him some quinine powder, which I looked that up, and it's for malaria, so I'm not sure.
Maybe it was like a jack of all trades type of thing.
Maybe, but like everything I was reading had everything to do with malaria, and I was like,
I think you gave him the wrong thing.
he has a headache. He is not dying of malaria.
Here's this. I just have a headache.
But maybe like back then it was like kind of like ibuprofen or something like
a
that.
fix
I
it
don't
all.
know.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah.
So, she gave him this, and then Belle said that when she came back into the room to check on him, he wasn't breathing. He was dead. And Belle was like shocked. He just had a simple headache.
Oh my gosh.
So crazy.
Thought he had malaria.
Probably. So it was ruled that Mads had died from heart failure, but his relatives were like, no, there's no way he died from heart failure. They truly believe that he was poisoned. He lived a very happy and healthy life. There's just no way he would die from heart failure. So it was a little strange, and the family wanted more answers. The day after Mad's death, Belle collected $8,000 from both of the life insurance policies. Like, combined, it was $8,000.
I bet that's a lot of money nowadays.
In today's money,
okay.
it's $286,514.29.
Oh man, you can buy yourself a new car.
She's talking about living
or
rich.
a carriage. I don't know, whatever you ride in. You could buy a zebra to ride on, Belle. You can buy the beast.
Not even a painted zebra either.
Nope.
Or it's painted donkey.
You could buy the real deal.
You could buy the real deal. So the family, had asked for Mad's body to be exhumed because they wanted to see what the cause of the death was, but for reasons unknown, that never happened. Then, coincidentally, Brie, the house that she shared with Mads, it burned down also.
Oh my gosh, this woman is just...
She is...
one tragedy after another.
She is so unlucky.
Yeah, poor Belle.
The insurance the insurance company was like, okay, what's going on out here? So they come out and they do an investigation what caused the fire, but they found no proof of fraud. So the insurance policy followed through, paid her out on the claim. So Belle just got money from her husband dying, the candy store burning down, and her home burning down.
Dang.
So I guess like when she wanted to like live out this lifestyle of wealth in
Oh,
America,
she did it.
she did it. Yeah. So Belle's getting a lot of heat from everyone close to her, so she decided that she was going to move because she needed to get away from it. So she decided to move only 6 miles away.
I thought she was like gonna go back home where she was from.
I mean,
I'm gonna go back to Norway.
If you're walking, maybe
Yeah.
it's like a little bit further.
I just can't handle this drama in this area. I need a new start. Let's go down the road.
I'm gonna move to La Porte.
I'm going down the block.
She purchased a farm out in La Porte, Illinois. So while she was excuse me, Indiana.
Oh, okay.
So she crossed the border.
Right. All right.
So while out in Indiana, Belle met another man. His name was Peter Guinness. Just a few months after buying the farm, and in 1904, Belle and her husband Peter were working together at their new store that they had opened up.
Oh,
Hope it's not a candy
I was about to
store.
say, is it another candy shop?
No, it was a local market where they would sell meat and produce. So
Oh,
just like
okay.
a little market.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Peter was mainly the one who would work there, from what I could understand. One day, Peter and Belle were working together at the store market. Peter was organizing a shelf, and somehow the meat grinder that was on the shelf fell and hit and crushed his head,
Oh gosh. Oh, ow.
unaliving him almost immediately.
Oh my gosh.
I can't
Those things
imagine-
are heavy.
So heavy.
Jeez.
So,
it just fell right on his head.
surprisingly.
And
So-
that thing had to be hard to just fall off the shelf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I can't imagine, like, so you see something falling at you, wouldn't you get it out of the way?
Yeah, I would get out, screw that thing. I'd like dodge it. Like maybe I could see like his shoulder, or something
but, like,
getting hit, but
straight
like
on top of his head.
oh, unless he's like trying to stop it and like has his hands and it just crushes his hands and his head.
Wouldn't you, like, fall backward?
Yeah,
Fall backwards,
that's what I'm saying. Like
oh.
I had to make that noise. Sorry, stop.
So, I don't know. The coroner, this actually went to a coroner jury, which I didn't know was a real thing. But the coroner jury questioned Belle, the only person who saw the accident. And they're like, can you please tell us exactly what happened? And Belle went on to tell the coroner's jury that this meat grinder just came off the shelf and struck him.
It's a ghost.
Since they didn't have any proof of what really happened, and the real
Just
reason,
annoy all of our listeners with that stupid text tone.
now since they didn't have any real proof or real reason to question her, this statement was accepted as true, and his death was ruled as an accident.
Oh my gosh.
Belle and Peter. Oh, by the way, did I tell you? I don't think I did, but this is obviously a Black Widow story.
Yeah. Yes, I've already thought about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that why you
That's why I'm dressed the way I am.
Black Widow?
Black Widow.
I figured you'd have like bright red hair.
Surprisingly, I couldn't find any dye.
I'm a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, so sorry.
This frizzled true crime my ass.
So his death was ruled as an accident. Belle and Peter had 3 small children together. They had 3 small children and an adopted daughter, so they had 4 children total.
Okay.
Philip, Myrtle, and Lucy, and the 14-year-old
Aw.
adopted daughter's name was Ginny. So
Such cute little timeless names.
I know. So Belle had obviously continued on with her life. She was doing that single mom stuff. She was trying to manage the store and being a single mom.
So they were together for a while then.
I don't know how long they were together.
I mean, enough to have 3 of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, like, even if she pushes one out, like, each year,
Yeah.
that's still at least 3 years
Yeah.
together. So, yeah. So Belle had obviously had to continue with her life, being the single mom and managing the store that they still had. September of 1906, Belle's adopted daughter, Jenny, went missing. Neighbors and locals hadn't seen Jenny in weeks, so they ended up, calling the police and saying, "Can you do a welfare check on Jenny? We haven't seen her." So the police went over to Belle's home and they asked her, what happened to Jenny. And she's like, "Oh, she went to Los Angeles to finish up her education." And they're like, "Okay." And the way that she talked to people was very like matter of factly and very almost like she was very confident in the way that she talked. So they're like, "We have no reason of any suspicion." So, okay, she went to Los Angeles. Belle was feeling more alone than ever right now. So she wanted company, and she also needed help at the farm because it's just her.
Right.
And then younger kids. So she decides to insert an advertisement in the singles column of one of the leading newspapers of Chicago and other large surrounding cities. This ad said, "Personal. Widow who owns a large farm in one of the finest districts in LaPorte County, Indiana, desires to make an acquaintance above gentlemen equally well provided with view of joining fortunes. No replies by letter considered unless person is willing to follow. Answer with personal visit."
Oh.
So.
No phone call? Well, I guess they didn't have phone. Did they have?
No.
Was when?
I don't
1909. Yeah, I think they. Son of a bitch. I always sound stupid on this show.
All I know is that she's basically asking someone to come out and join their finances with hers and help her run this farm.
Right. Okay. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Phones were invented 1876.
Yeah, but probably not everyone had them.
Yeah, maybe not.
So
she was pretty rich. She probably had one.
Yeah, but maybe not everyone. So that's why she was like, but that would be like a way to figure out if the person was rich or not. It'd be like, "Call me. Do you have a phone? You don't have a phone? You're not rich." Yeah.
Swipe right.
So May of 1907, a man named Ole B. Budsberg was an elderly widower, and he was staying in Wisconsin. And
you have a hard time saying Wisconsin too.
Wisconsin.
Is it Wince or Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
I don't know which one it is.
Wisconsin.
I say it both ways. Just so like I can like mix it up a little bit, kind of like caramel and caramel.
Yeah.
Pecan.
Wisconsin.
Hello, Wisconsin. Hello, Wisconsin. I don't think there's an N in the beginning.
No, I'm looking at the spelling right now.
Oh, there's just an S. There's no
W-I-S.
N. I don't know why I put an N there.
Wisconsin. So he was staying in Wisconsin. He was staying in the Cheesehead State.
There you go.
And he saw an advertisement that Belle put out. He wanted to meet Belle. Let's see what this comes of. What am I saying? Let's see what comes from this. He was pretty well off. He had money. He was alone. He was like, "Shoot, I'll go."
Perfect.
So he also thought, like, maybe I shouldn't tell my 2 grown sons about this because they're going to tell me not to go and I really want to go. So he's like, "I'm just not going to say anything."
Perfect.
It's super smart. So he goes down there, doesn't tell his sons. So one evening, Ole left his home in Wisconsin and headed out to Belle's farm. Sadly, he was never seen again. He never returned. Nobody saw him ever again.
Oh my gosh, it's so weird.
So bizarre. The sons of Ole, they were like, "We haven't heard from Dad in a while." So they go out to his house and they ask the neighbors and they're like, "Well, have you seen our dad?" And they're like, "Yeah. Someone said that someone told me that he was going down to go visit a lady from an advertisement that he saw. So the sons were like, all right, well, they also ask around, so they also found out that someone saw him negotiating the sale of a mortgage at a savings bank, and they saw him draw out a bunch of money from his account, and this was on April 6th of 1907, and that was the last time that he was seen.
Why would you do that?
Obviously because he wanted to prove to her that he had money. So another man named Andrew was working in South Dakota, and he also saw the advertisement. He was communicating with Belle as well, because she can have multiple men.
Right. Yeah.
He was writing Belle back and forth, and he wanted to get to know her more before he moved out and met her. Smart. The more that they talked, the more that Belle was trying to convince Andrew to come out there and to live with her, stay at the farm, join, finances, build a business, maybe
normal things.
help, be a baby daddy to my kids.
Yeah.
But I don't think she cares about her kids. I'm just
doesn't sound like
yeah.
they were important to her.
Yeah. So Andrew was like, this is kind of actually appealing to me. You're saying that I can work on a farm, build a business with you, and make money. All right. So Andrew decides to head out to Belle's farm in January of 1908. His plan was to help maintain the farm and also make repairs to where they're needed. So he moves out there, and for about 2 weeks, he was there for about 2 weeks when Belle had asked him to go with her and get a $3,000 loan. $98,000 in today's money.
Dang.
Unfortunately, he only qualified for $1,200.
Okay, you're a little bit off there.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a bummer. They were told that the check was going to be mailed to them, so they're like, all right. So Belle and Andrew go back to the farm, and they're just like living their life, waiting for this check to come in to, help with repairs or whatever, build the business, whatever they're needing it for. But Belle had her eyes on that mailbox, and she got to it before him, and she did. Weeks were going by, and Andrew's like, wow, where is this check? And Belle's like, I don't know. Totally gaslighting him. Like, they said it would be any day.
So weird.
Maybe
got lost in the mail.
Little did he know that she had already deposited that thing, put $500 in a savings bank, and then $700 in a state bank. And she paid numerous large bills with it.
Oh my gosh.
So she's just,
She had a plan.
She had a plan. She's like, come give me money.
Yep.
Yeah. So 2 days later, Andrew disappeared. And then Andrew's brother hadn't heard from him in weeks. And normally he would get like routine letters from his brother. He's like, I haven't heard from him for weeks. So, Andrew did tell his brother that he was going down to this place to live with this lady on the farm. So his brother reached out to Belle and was like, you know what? Where, have you seen my brother? Where did he go? And Belle was like, well, Andrew had went and gotten a loan and took off and went to Norway. Huh.
Why would he go to Norway?
Just Norway.
Just Norway.
And Andrew's brother was like, that is very off-putting. That does not sound like him.
He would not do that.
Yeah, and Belle's like, I know. I thought the same thing. So weird. Hey, while we're at it, should you come to my farm? Maybe we could look for him?
How rich are you, by the way?
She really did. She told him to come to her farm.
Let's go see if he's there.
Yeah. And so Andrew's
sounds like you're talking to like a 3-year-old.
Yeah, Andrew's like, nah, or Andrew's brother's like, nah, dog. Like,
good, because you would be like a 3-year-old if you fell for that. Super sus.
I have free candy.
Hey, you want a bike?
There's puppies over here. Do you want to pet these puppies?
I might go for that one.
So Andrew's like, well, I don't like this. Andrew's brother. But then the same day, April 28th, 1908, at about 3 a.m., Belle's home was burned to the ground. Again.
Oh my gosh, poor
I know.
Belle.
I know.
Oh, what a tragedy.
So when investigators got a call about the fire, they went out there to investigate. They go and they look at the home and find charred remains of a woman and 3 children. They were found inside the burned home, and when they got a closer look, they identified those children as her children.
Oh no.
I know. The woman that was burned, the investigators assumed it was Belle because, I mean, those are her kids, and the women kind of resembled Belle, but her head was missing. So,
I wonder if it's because of the teeth. If they did that then, dental records?
They did, yeah.
Okay.
So they also discovered, I just said that. So this, because the head was missing, this led them to wonder, like, is this actually Belle?
Why would just her head be missing? That's so random.
So weird. And if it was Belle, who did this?
Yeah, because clearly it was purposeful if the head is missing
Correct.
and the house got on fire.
Correct. So investigators are looking for any leads that, any leads, and they come across this man named Ray. And Ray was, at the time, he was someone that was like one of her ranch hands. He would come over and help her, with daily tasks and whatnot. But Belle had fired him because he was a shady person.
Okay.
And so Ray,
if he's a shady person, she's the tree making the shade.
Belle and Ray obviously didn't get along. Ray would go on to say that he had a lot of dirt on her, and like he would threaten her with that, like, I have a lot of dirt on you. And so then, to cover that up, so it didn't look like he had dirt on her, she would go around and tell everyone, like, well, Ray's crazy and you can't believe anything that comes out of his mouth.
Oh.
So and that's why she fired her. Investigators found evidence that would prove Ray was at the home when the fire started, but I couldn't find out what that evidence was.
Okay.
It was not discovered, or
But they had it.
they had something.
All right. Camera footage.
So Ray was questioned further, and he would tell investigators that there are bodies buried in the backyard. On May 5th, the investigators went looking, and they found 5 mutilated and decomposed bodies buried in that said backyard. One of the bodies they were able to identify as Jenny, the adopted daughter.
Oh.
It was believed that she was murdered because she knew too much regarding the death of Peter in 1904.
Okay.
So the first body they found was Jenny, and then they found a second body, and that body was Andrew from South Dakota. The third was an unidentified body of a man, and the fourth and fifth were bodies of 2 8-year-old girls, which I don't know where those girls came from. Yeah. On May 6th, 4 additional bodies of men were also buried in the backyard discovered. Most of the bodies that were found had limbs removed in a way that indicated to authorities that the amputations were performed by someone who was familiar with anatomy, which makes me think it would be Belle because they worked at the
butcher shop.
Yeah.
Right.
So the theory was that some of the bodies were just too heavy to move, so they were then cut up to make them easier to move by one person.
And they were heavy, so it's probably someone small.
Exactly. So authorities found burlap sacks full of torsos, shoulders, limbs, and human bones wrapped in loose flesh that dripped like loose flesh that dripped like jelly.
Ew.
I'm so sorry.
Ew. I just got goosebumps. That was gross. Ew.
Also, authorities found burlap sacks. Oh, I just read that.
Don't read it again. Nobody wants to hear all that. And if you do, you're psycho.
Many of the skulls had blunt trauma and gashes separated from the bodies. On May 9th, 2 more bundles of bones, decayed flesh, and clothes were found in their private graveyard that they had built. Why do we need to have a
Oh my
graveyard?
God.
But they were actually unable to identify any of these bodies.
Oh no.
On May 14th, a few bones of one more victim were found in the ashes in the cellar and some in the shallow graves under the original hog pen, which makes me wonder if she's also feeding them to the hogs.
Ugh. Just like that one lady.
That one lady, yeah. They also found more bones near an outhouse and by the lake nearby. The bones had been crushed on one of the ends, which was very bizarre, as though they had been struck with a hammer after they were dismembered, and then quicklye or calcium oxide had been scattered over the faces and stuffed in the ears.
Is that to help them smell?
Yeah, and decay faster. So
Lye's really cheap, by the way.
Yes, it is. Yeah. A serious doubt arose as to what actually happened to Belle because she was too burned in the home, and they found a lady who looked like Belle, who was burned with the children, but the head was cut off, which is kind of weird. So they're like, we think it's Belle, but we're not positive.
Okay.
They got to thinking that Belle murdered the children and several others. Maybe she lured in a woman into her home who had kind of looked like her. She then killed the women, disfigured her remains so that she could not be recognized, chopped her head off, messed up her appearance so that they couldn't identify the body. Then she set the house on fire and escaped. That's what they're thinking.
Right.
So Belle must have thought that, they would believe this and charges, what am I saying? Believe this and the charred woman of the woman, there would be would be Belle, and there would be no further investigation. Right. But they finally, in the ashes, found a lower jawbone from this woman.
Oh, okay.
This was taken to a local dentist for examination. Some of the dentistry work was still visible on the teeth, which were still connected to the jawbone. And the dentist positively identified the work he did was for Belle a year prior. But here's my theory.
Wait, so they identified that the jawbone matched Belle's?
Yes, from the dentist. But this is my theory, Brie.
Okay. She paid off the dentist. Sorry.
Oh, that's one theory. But I was thinking that she found someone that needed dental work. And she's like, if you go into the dentist,
she was really smart.
Put it under my name.
She was very smart.
And I will pay for it.
I feel like she thought out everything.
Yeah.
Although clearly she did that in a panic. That whole scheme thing that was burning her house down and killing all of her children, that was something because something went wrong.
Yeah. So, on top of that, they found rings of the finger rings on the finger of the dead woman. Those were identified as property of Belle, but that could be easy. She could just have given her the rings. So the prosecution suspected that Belle was burned to death, but a doctor who examined Belle's remains believed that she died of a contraction of the heart, probably due to some kind of poisoning. The doctor believed that this was the same poison that was used to kill her other and previous victims. Shortly after Belle's private graveyard was discovered, the two sons of Olay had come down to La Porte because they thought maybe their dad had fallen into the same scheme. And they were actually able to identify one of the unidentified bodies as their missing father.
Okay. Well, that's good.
And
Closure.
then, on May 12th, surgical instruments the bodies were probably dismembered with were also found in the ashes. And then on May 19th, a woman from Wisconsin arrived into town to inquire regarding her brother who had left home to marry a rich widow in La Porte, but he was never heard from again.
Oh my gosh.
Unfortunately for her, the most of the bodies were badly mutilated and decomposed, and it was impossible to determine if her brother remains. If her brother was a victim of Belle's. I'm not going to read all that because that doesn't really matter. It's just basically like he took like a $1,500 check, went down to California. What the heck, Laporte, and he was never heard from again. His
Okay.
name was Henry, but there was like numerous stories just like
Yeah.
that of men going down to Laporte
Jeez.
and never being heard from again. So neighbors were saying that they saw Ray around the area, and he was there the night the fire started. But also, they had seen him around the area after the disappearance of Andrew. Ray had been seen wearing Andrew's overcoat and some other items of other victims.
Oh no.
So, on May 18th, authorities asked Ray where he got the items, and he claimed that Belle gave him the items as payment for things he did for her around the farm, and he had no idea where she got
It's
them.
messed up.
Yeah. Then they asked where he was the night of the fire. They had evidence that he was there that night,
Right.
but he didn't know that. And Ray was like, "Well, I was at a woman's house until about 4
Uh-huh.
a.m."
So you're guilty.
Mm-hmm. And so the authorities go and they ask the woman. They're like, "Was he here?" And she's like, "No." And so, eventually, after a lot of pushing from the authorities, Ray confessed that he had burned the home down, but denied he had committed any murders. Ray also said that he and sometimes a neighbor friend would dig trenches for Belle, and they never questioned what they were for. They just wanted to get paid. On May 22nd, 1908, Ray was charged for murder of Belle and her family by means of arson. He pled guilty of arson and was sentenced to 2 to 20 years in prison. Immediately after his conviction, Ray's health failed rapidly, and he ended up dying on December 30th, 1909. So, like, a little bit
Jeez.
over a year later.
Yeah.
So, on January 14th, 1909, a officer came forward and made a public confession saying that Ray came to him after he was arrested, admitted that he helped Belle bury one of the victims, and he also saw Belle pour chloroform on other victims and then cut them up with a hatchet. He also confessed that he chloroformed Belle and her family.
Oh.
Belle was pronounced dead, but whether she died in the fire or did indeed escape remains a mystery.
What is with the head?
I know. There was many reports sightings of Belle in the Chicago area long after she was declared dead. After the crimes, the farm became a huge I hate this part. The farm became a huge tourist attraction. Spectators came from across the country to see the mass graves.
Oh my gosh.
Popcorn and souvenirs. Souvenirs were sold for all who came out to
It's
check
a
out
small
this
town.
I know. Hey, dead people. There are people, or hey, dead people.
Hey,
We're
alive
buried
people.
over here. Come get your popcorn.
Oh my gosh.
The crime became part of the area's history in LaPorte County Historical Society Museum, and they have a permanent exhibit of Belle Guinness in the museum. So, in the end, Belle is thought to have killed at least 14 people, most of whom were men she had enticed to visit her on the promise of marriage. While some sources speculate Belle had some sources speculate Belle was responsible for as many as 40 bodies.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. There's probably
Deaths.
more than that.
Yeah, most of the bodies were found on her property, could never be identified. They kept DNA samples of each of the body in the system, but nothing was ever linked to anyone.
Jeez.
And that is another Black Widow story. I love Black Widow stories.
Yeah, that was. I mean, like it's. I don't want to ever cheer them on.
No.
Like it wasn't a good. It was. She's terrible, but like it. They go on and on and on and on and on usually.
And they don't
because
ever
they
get
keep
caught.
on trying. Exactly. Because they keep on going and going. Like they're getting away with it.
Yeah, it's bananas.
Ugh, you suck, Belle. You terrible person.
Terrible human. I can't believe she she killed her kids. That's awful.
What is with the head though?
I know. I wish that there was more information out there.
Yeah, like I really wonder, like maybe like did he didn't say anything else. He just said he admitted to chloroforming her.
Uh-huh.
He didn't say like he chopped her head off with an axe or
Nope.
anything. Like your head just doesn't like pop off.
Nope.
I was thinking like maybe there was an explosion in the house, like in the oven. Maybe she was like bending over or something like that and went like from the oven.
And
I don't
her
know.
whole,
But I don't know how the
whole
fire
head-
happened. Like maybe just her head popped off from an explosion.
I don't
So,
know,
you know you can
because
blow your eyebrows off and stuff.
You know what I think happened is I think she paid him off to say that he did that, and she escaped. And she found someone that needed dental work and had that person go into the dentist under her name.
Yeah, I think I agree, because you know what? She was not afraid to kill anybody.
Nope.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Her flippin' children.
Yep.
Those poor babies.
Those poor babies.
Do you know how old the babies were?
No, I don't.
Good. I don't want to know. I have a reminder on the top of my story saying creepy voice, Nat's room. It wasn't creepy though. It was very like
It's so creepy
sweet.
if it's not your voice or it's
It
not
was
your husband's
very
voice. That's very creepy.
weird. Man, that was a good story.
Thank you.
Not too long to where it was like boring. It was like constantly like I'm on the edge of
Another
my
thing,
seat,
another
waiting,
thing, another thing.
waiting.
And then at the end,
I
it was
need my
twists and
answer.
turns. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not expecting Ray to confess.
Good job, Ray. Kind of. Maybe not. You know what? Karma came back at you
But
for
also,
a reason.
why the heck would she stay in Chicago if she did
Yeah.
escape?
Because it was just a few miles away. I need to go back a few miles. Retrace my footsteps.
All right, tell me a creepy story about a creepy item.
Well,
building. Noun. A creepy noun.
with the anniversary of the Titanic coming up,
No
April
way.
14th, I am going to talk about the Haunted Titanic Museum in Branson, Missouri.
What?
So this will come out on the 9th. Oh, happy birthday to my childhood best friend on the 9th, Taylor Perry.
Aw, happy birthday.
What else is on the 9th? Oh, National Unicorn Day.
That's good to know. Thank you.
Yes, I thought about doing a story about unicorns, but I was like, I've done way too many cryptids and stuff lately. What's wrong?
Nothing. I'm just thinking of something.
Okay, so Branson, Missouri, Titanic. Let's see. I didn't bring my reading glasses.
Yesterday
with
was
me.
National Tater Day.
Tater Day, like potatoes.
Yeah.
I didn't have any potatoes yesterday though.
I'm sorry.
I
did.
accidentally had a bite of chicken though. I didn't realize until yesterday evening.
We had scallops.
And we're not supposed to. Oh, yummy. Oh, I'm jealous. Were they the ones from Costco? The frozen ones? Or did you cook them? You didn't make me any? I love scallops. Especially bacon wrapped scallops. Oh, I just love scallops, period. You never had bacon wrapped scallops?
Are we not thinking of the
Scallops.
same thing?
Scallop potatoes.
Yeah.
Not like the sea scallops. I was like, I'm surprised that you like scallops.
No.
You don't like Josh of all people likes scallops.
Disgusting. No. We had scallops.
Oh,
Cheese. Scallops.
scallop potatoes.
Potatoes,
I don't
yeah.
call them scallops. I just call them scallop potatoes.
I didn't know there were two things.
Sea scallops. You're like looking at me weird when I said bacon wrap, and I was like, "Is that not a thing on the West Coast? Bacon wrap
I was
scallops?
like, how would you
Everybody eats
wrap-
bacon wrap scallops.
how would you wrap?
They're so thin. All right.
All right, sorry.
So I'm not gonna get too much into detail on the Titanic because we've
We
all
all know
seen the
it,
movie. We've all like. I feel like it's even though it happened in like the early 1900s, like we all know about it because of the movie.
Even
And
Alice has seen the movie.
I asked her because I told her I was doing this story. Did she tell you that I was
About-
doing this story?
No.
I told her not to.
But she did tell me that you wanted to do another pretend story.
Oh yeah, I do.
And I was like, I wanted to too.
Yes, I do. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I will say the RMS, which RMS means Royal Mail Ship, because it was also a mail ship. I found out a lot of cool facts about it.
Mail.
Yeah, like it was delivered mail. Also,
Okay. Not male like as in a man.
no, not a man. This is female. She's a beaut.
She's a beaut, my man.
The construction for it began in 1908 and was completed on March 31st, 1912. It was at the time the largest ship at 882 feet long and could have or had the capacity of 3,320 people. However, there were only 20 lifeboats on board when it could have held 48.
And they did that because the other ones weren't ready.
Is that why?
I believe it was.
I didn't see why.
It was either they weren't ready or they didn't have room for them, and so that's why
They had room for them.
like just like there was room on the door.
There wasn't. Well,
No,
it couldn't have held 2 people, I think.
No.
And the lifeboats that they had on board could only hold like 1,178 people.
Total?
Yes.
Okay.
And there were like a lot more than that on board.
Yes.
Fun fact. Did you know that the Titanic had a swimming board or a swimming pool on board?
Oh, that's cool.
I didn't.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that was because, I mean, they didn't show it in the movie.
No, they didn't.
And also, the unsinkable ship was something that was actually not actually said in real life. That was just in the movie.
Oh.
That the boat was unsinkable. So, it set sail on April 10th in 1912 from Southampton, England to New York City. It was on April 14th of 1912 when the ship collided with a large iceberg and sank to the bottom of the North Atlantic Ocean around 2.5 miles down.
Wow.
I'm not going to say meters because...
We're in America.
Yes. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys.
You can look it up because I have to look up all the translation for meters and stuff. I almost put it in there and I was like, I probably should, and I forgot to look it up last minute.
I got very confused if you did. Thank you.
Taking 815 passengers and 688 crew, totaling to 1,503 people.
Jeez.
One thing that came back to me, or one thing... Okay, so also, I didn't know that with the lifeboats, like even like putting like the women and children in them,
right?
The lifeboats that were out in the ocean, they weren't even full either, which makes me mad. Like they were not like filling these things to the brim. No. Like they could have put so many more people in them, and it makes me so mad.
Yeah.
With this being a major tragedy in history, it's highly remembered and memorialized, and around the world there are numerous museums and memorials for Titanic, but I will be talking about one in particular, the one in Branson, Missouri.
Okay.
It was built in 2000 or opened up in 2006, and it is co-owned by a John Jocelyn, who actually headed the expedition to the Titanic in like 1987.
Whoa.
And I think that was what, remember in the movie how like they had the film of like actually going to the ship?
Yeah.
That's what those were from.
Oh,
is that expedition.
That was
I believe
actual
that's
footage?
Yeah,
footage?
I believe so.
That's cool.
Because they show it online too. They just showed like more footage from that, or bonus footage, I think, recently on like the news or something.
Oh, that's cool.
He also owns another museum in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. They're both pretty similar. The museum holds 400 original artifacts from the ship, being worth over $4 million.
Jeez.
Fun fact.
Okay.
There is a grand staircase in the museum, just like on the actual ship.
Yeah.
And it is like pretty much an exact replica, just not as long. It's only like 2 stories versus like the other one was like 7.
Whoa.
And it cost about $1 million to construct in the museum. And that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Especially for
so the grand staircase went from the first floor all the way up to the 7th floor?
I guess. It said 7. I heard
that.
somewhere 7 stories.
Interesting. I guess that makes sense.
And remember in that one story that I did a couple weeks ago, the one in Ireland, that place that had their staircase, and they said there's only one other staircase like that, or 2 other staircases like that, and one was in, it was a Catholic thing, I can't remember, but the other one was in the Titanic.
Oh!
I don't know how true that is, but I thought that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
So there are several, like I said, there are several Titanic museums around the world, but I did this one because it holds the most artifacts, I believe. and those can range from personal belongings like wedding rings, and also pieces of the ship as well.
Oh, okay.
And also, it's been investigated by Ghost Adventures, which is pretty cool.
That's fun.
I get more material that way.
Yeah.
And it looks really flippin' cool. Like, I know I say that about all my places, but I really want to go to this place. It looks really cool. So let's dive down into this.
Oh, pun intended.
Dive down into the icy waters of the Titanic. So, supposedly around... Wait a second. Hold up. Backtrack.
Okay.
I also found out about the actual scene of the actual wreckage, not the museum, but the scene of the actual wreckage in the Atlantic Ocean. The ships that pass through that area have experienced like radio interferences, including like SOS messages and calls and signals and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
They don't know where it's coming from. And
That's
also,
so cool.
other ships have reported seeing orbs in the area too, like multiple orbs.
Oh, that's freaky.
And there's like nothing out there. It's in the middle of nowhere. So
yeah. I bet there's not even an iceberg out there anymore.
there is underneath probably, because they talked, I don't know. I feel like so many things went wrong that night.
Yeah.
This makes me mad. Anyway, I've watched so many different documentaries on it this week, and I'm just, brings me back. Now I want to watch Titanic.
Such a good movie.
It is. Such a sweet love story.
Is
So
it,
beautiful.
Is
It's
it?
so sad. But also, he couldn't have gotten on the door, guys.
No, it would have not floated.
Mythbusters proved it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
All right. So, in the museum itself, being that it has all these artifacts, can these tragedies and all these losses cling on to these artifacts? Like, what if someone was holding a mirror and the ship went down when they were doing that, or like,
yeah.
like crying into a mirror as they're like really sad just to make themselves a little bit more sad. I don't know. So people have reported overwhelming feeling of emotions when going near the building.
I
Also-
bet. Even if there wasn't anything
Yeah,
attached
Yeah,
to that.
it's a-
That's
yeah, and it's a huge tragedy.
Right.
Sounds of footsteps have been heard. Disembodied screams have been heard.
No.
Handprints on glass appear all the time, even though the
that's
crew like constantly cleans the glass because like people touch glass.
Right.
But I don't think the area that the glass shows the handprints, you can't just go back there and touch it because it's out of reach. There's like a
barrier.
yeah. But I know I'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
But and also they're like child size too. They're like little kid
Oh,
size.
babies.
So, yeah. Apparently there were a lot of children that died on the Titanic.
Oh, I bet.
Um
I hate that.
we are going to hate this next one.
Okay.
Wet foot and shoe prints can also sometimes be found in the museum.
That's disgusting.
Who didn't wipe their feet before they came in? It's not even raining out. The smell of cigar smoke has been
Okay.
reported. Display cases and doors that were locked have been found open.
Oh.
The crew that works there dresses to like resemble the maid service and just the crew on the original Titanic.
That's cool.
And so just to keep up the whole
Yeah.
facade. And they have reported that their clothing, like their tiebacks around their waist, will
Right.
get tugged, and just their clothing gets tugged.
Oh.
They've also heard their names being called.
Ew, no, I don't like that.
An apparition has been seen towards the top of the Grant staircase, towards the side, like he was heading up to where the guest cabins would be in the original ship.
Uh-huh.
And this figure is believed to be the richest man on the Titanic, named John Jacob Astor IV.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he died going down the ship, but he saved his wife and had her go on the lifeboats.
Did she survive?
Yeah.
Okay.
A small child has also been seen by the piano in the music room.
Oh, baby.
Books and objects have been seen thrown off the shelves on camera.
Oh.
It's a stupid book. And others have reported seeing a see-through figure in formal wear.
Okay.
So the Ghost Adventures episode, I got Discovery Plus back again this week. And
You
I'm
can
so
log into
mad.
mine.
No, I want it. I want it myself.
Oh, okay.
I just
It's
want
only
it myself.
$4.99 a month.
I know.
So
This.
cheap.
I was like, I'll just get it myself. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I got it so that I can, like, a big reason is so I can research. And I'm looking for this episode, and like 5 different websites say on a different season and a different episode.
Oh, jeez.
I eventually like find on the Travel Channel website, they say what episodes and whatever. All those episodes were not correct, so I don't know where the hell this Titanic episode is, but I saw clips of it on YouTube, so I'm just going with what I found.
Why didn't you just search?
I did.
You did like the search on Discovery?
Yeah, like I was going through each season checking to find the Titanic episode, and I could not find it. I looked at like every single suggestion online of where it would be, and I could not find it. I have no idea why.
That's frustrating.
So y'all need to fix your stuff, Zach. You need to make sure Travel Channel has your Titanic episodes on there. And also, a lot of your episodes are listed in the wrong episodes whenever you look them up online. Zach. Calling you out. Zach. So they investigated it, and while they were like what the was that?
What was that?
I don't know. What was that?
I don't know. It sounded like it came from over there. Did you do something? Is it April Fool's?
No. You're messing with me.
I'm not messing with you, Brie.
What is that? It sounded like a water bottle.
Yeah, but it sounded like it came over like...
It did. It sounded like it was right at the end of my thing.
Hello?
Is it recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll just keep on going. Are you messing with me?
No, I'm not. Alice said that she wanted to do a prank on you, but I was like, nah, she'll know because it's April Fool's.
I actually forgot it was April Fool's first thing this morning, but it's okay. Okay, so they were investigating the whole fingerprint thing with the windows, and they put like some candy and toys around the area because people say that they're small fingerprints, like child size. They put child size candy over there.
Fun size.
And right before the crew of the museum had left, they had watched them clean the windows right beforehand. And so no one had touched the window since. And so they were recording, and on the SLS camera, they caught like a stick figure. The whole stick figures going like in the window and then through the window. And then afterwards, they had seen that there were fingerprints, like little tiny little baby kids' handprints, like the size of Charlotte's or Natalie's.
Yeah.
They were so little. But you can actually like see the grooves in them. Like I was like, why don't you just like pick those up and like test them?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
I wonder if they could do that.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, and they're like, oh my God, this person died like 100 years ago.
Why couldn't they do that?
I don't know. Like, why? Because I don't know. On one of the podcasts that I listened to about this, they had made the point that they used to work for like a department store where they had to constantly clean glass because there was always getting fingerprints on them, and they were wondering if maybe like they were just fingerprints that wouldn't come off. I don't know, but I'm gonna believe it's the babies.
I think that's cool.
I think so too.
Especially if they cleaned it and they said that it was
they said it was clean. They watched them. And Zach's usually pretty good about like checking before him and debunking things. So whenever they did see that SLS figure jump through the window, it headed towards like it looked like it headed towards another room and towards where another set of the crew were at.
Yeah.
And he tells them, he's like, "Hey, I think something just headed your way. So get your stuff ready and make sure you're good to go." And we think it was a kid. And so they put out like cookies and toys and stuff. And immediately their Oculus, like the talking thing that reads off the dictionary, says female. And then they start asking it questions, and it intelligently responds. And they're like, "How old are you?" And it says 6. Like immediately says the number. And so that was pretty cool.
That's really sweet.
They also experience some heavy energy around the staircase and I believe like cold spots.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all I could get from the Titanic Museum. It sounds like it's a lot of like personal accounts from the place.
Oh, okay.
And I couldn't find a whole lot on Yelp.
Really? I was hoping that you would do
I
a
know.
Yelp.
I was trying to look for it, but not a lot of people. Every time I typed in ghost, because you can type in like certain words to like narrow your search down, and I'll
Yeah.
type ghost, spirit, whatever. And every time I type ghost, they're like, "Oh, Ghost Adventures went there." Well, Ghost Adventures went there, and I saw
Oh.
someone say like, "Well, supposedly this place is haunted, but I didn't see a ghost." Like, okay. When you go there, you are guaranteed to see a ghost.
That's what I want.
So as of today, upon coming in, you are given a boarding pass, which I've seen this on TikTok, featuring the name of the original passenger. And it's like an
Of, like,
actual
any random
passenger. Yeah,
passenger?
that was on the Titanic. And like throughout the trip or throughout your tour, you're like, you can look up their name, find information about them. And by the end of
Oh.
your tour, you find out if they surved or if they died. It's kind of
That's so
sad.
cool. I mean,
It's
that's
like really
kinda cool, though.
disappointing at the end. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, they died. But yeah, it is really neat. You can also touch a real iceberg, and you can put your hand. They have like a tank where you can put your hand in like 28-degree water to feel the water that they were in,
Oh, I love that.
and you can also experience like the sloping decks at like different angles that the ship was at, and they have them like out in the wall, and you can go and step on them. They like it's cool for like little kids to go
Yeah.
and like step on them. Like obviously they don't understand, but
Right.
it's still really cool, and they have a lot of interactive things in the museum.
Oh, I like that.
And lastly, from what I found, it looked like there's like a private group called Ghost Hunt Weekends that you can join. And they offer like a package dinner and history and hauntings of the Titanic from a crew member or whatever. They come up and tell you about it.
Okay.
And then afterwards, it sounds like they close the museum and they privately go in there and like hang out there for the night and ghost hunt.
Oh,
so
that's fun.
yeah, that was pretty neat. But it seems like a very harmless place to go check out, but also like it's you looked really distracted. I saw the piece fuzz or the hair. I see it right now. But yeah, it seems like a really cool place to go to, and
That would be
the
fun. I like
Titanic
that
is a
type of
very
stuff.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the Titanic Museum in Branson, Missouri.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was a good one.
You're welcome.
Can I tell you a neighborhood story?
You betcha.
So, this one says it came from Reddit. The old lady who lived below me left me multiple cryptic letters blaming me for the birds chirping too loud in the mornings. Not pet birds, the sparrows outside. This went on for months.
Okay.
It's your fault the birds are up early.
I'm sorry. I'll take their nests out and put them in your yard.
Oh my gosh.
Quit feeding them bird food.
We're gonna see you later. Bye.
See ya. Check us out. Oh, sorry.
No.
Check us out on Patreon, guys. We are going to be doing some bonus things soon, especially with it warming up out. Not
Yeah.
that the winter stops us, but it kind of does. It makes things not as
sad
fun.
and depressing.
Yeah. And we can I can walk to Amy's house in the summertime, and I love
Yeah.
walking to your house.
Yeah.
But yeah, check us out on Patreon. You can get your episodes early, and you get a free magnet.
Yeah.
Which
What?
I can't remember. Did you give those folks a free magnet? Don't you work with them?
Yeah, I think so.
You did give
Probably.
them? Okay. So yeah, check us out on Patreon, guys. We will be having some bonus episodes. Plus, I'm talking about doing
She
a
came
kids
by
one.
and visited.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Also, we sell our merch on our website, what'swiththeneighbors.com. On there, you can find everything, like to our Patreon, like to our Buy Me Coffee, our promotions, all of our episodes and subscription, all that fun stuff. And we're on YouTube, where you can watch our full episodes for free when they are released. So yeah,
Yeah, you should
do the whole
that.
shebang.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Have you checked in on the neighbors?
What's with the neighbors?
Bring Amy out. Say hi to your cats for us.
Don't get dead. Meow. And you might want to add it in, because it's also part of April Fool's.
What, Brie?
I have a very big confession. I have a very long prank that has gone on way too long. And I haven't told you the truth because I forgot about it for a while.
I don't like this. How long have you been pranking me?
Let's see. Well, I think you kind of know. March, April, 7 months.
What the heck?
I think. Maybe 6 months. I think it's 7 months, though. Maybe 8. Oh, my God. Maybe 8 months. When did you get that doll?
I freaking knew it. I freaking knew it.
Here's what happened. Alice put it in my fucking house. You pranked me first. Your child pranked me first. And I was like, I'm going to get even. And so I took it out of that bag. And honestly, I forgot about it for a while. Charlotte and Natalie knew about it because they found it first. And they were super excited. And they were super mad that I took it away. And so I took it out of Josh's computer bag. And whenever Alice came over that one day, she was like, did you find anything inside Josh's bag? And I was like, I don't know, there's some peanuts in there. And she's like, no, look. And I'm like, I did my whole look thing.
Right.
And she looks in there and she's like, where'd it go? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And of course she believed me because I was very good at lying at that. Sometimes I'm good at it. and I forgot that it was hidden in my what's with the neighbor's tote bag that I would bring over here every single time. It was always over here. I just kept on forgetting to put it somewhere. And I'd come home and I'd unload my bag and I'd find the doll again. And I'm like, dang it, I forgot to hide it somewhere in her house. And finally, like 2 months later, I hide it in Alice's room. Voila. She's fine. She's cool. She's really nice, actually.
So I have a confession to make. I found it in her room and I didn't do anything about it. And I let her find it. And so I left it there and then no. I found it and I was the one that put it in here. So
Oh, you put it in here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why you weren't scared at all. You were pretending to be scared. I was like, why is she not freaking out about this more? She's really irresponsible. She should be freaking out more about this.
But I don't know how it got into her room. I figured that maybe she actually did forget and never brought it to your house.
Dang. It would have been so much better if
she found it
and put it in here.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. That's what I've been keeping in for so long. But it's really just because I kept on forgetting to tell you.
I can't believe you.
April Fools.
That was a good one. Way to go for keeping it. I knew you did it. I knew. I was like, there's no way. It came over here by itself.
I was like, nah, you're messing with me.